There we go.
Hi, Carol.
Hello.
Is John not going to be available tonight?
Yeah, John said he thought he would not be available tonight.
Okay, well then, let's do it.
Well, let's give us another second to see if anybody else shows up here. Who else would it be? Oh, Denny might, maybe. 4 is enough, though, right?
Yep.
Okay. Give it another second.
So since we're not on the record yet, Carol, do you know anything about the family who lives, on the corner here of Cherry Lane and Boston Post Road? I mean, they've been working on that house for 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, that house. Yeah, I've been wondering about that. No, I don't really know, but it's taking forever.
Where's Eileen when we need her? She always knew everything that was going on.
She may actually know from South Carolina.
Right.
She probably knows more than we do.
Yeah,
Oh.
probably. I don't know. At first season, I thought it was building supplies maybe were delayed during COVID. And I don't know. I mean, that was under construction before I went to Hawaii in 2019. And it doesn't seem to be making too much progress.
No.
But
It may be all about the money.
Yeah, could
maybe,
be.
yep.
Maria, do we have applicants waiting here? Do we have anybody here waiting besides us? Hello?
I can see, Tom, I can see Gary Leonard and the Hellmans.
Oh,
Yes.
good. I couldn't see him. How can you see him?
You go to participants down at the bottom?
Oh, yeah.
It's
Okay.
scary.
There's Gary.
All right.
Hi,
I don't want
Gary.
anybody to wait any longer, so
Go ahead.
let's get started then. Okay, so we're going to call the agenda's right here. The Historic District Commission of Madison, Connecticut to order at 7:02 p.m. on April 25th, 2022. And for the purposes of the recording, we'll identify ourselves. I'm Tom Boyle.
Eric Berg.
Carol Snow?
Susan Cartledge. My dogs are getting things out of the wastebasket and I don't know where.
And any guests that we have could also say hello.
Gary Leonard.
Okay.
Gary, hi.
Yes, hi.
Who else do we have here? Let's see. And that looks like it. Okay. So, the first order of business is it's marked as old business, and I do recall the first application discussion, and this is 26 Meeting House Lane. So Gary, tell us why you're here. I think it's just that we just asked for a little more information, right?
Yes, and I did supply some photographs from Meeting House Lane that show you really are not going to see much. Although if it's objectionable to us ourselves, we'll add some plants in front of them. But given the distance for the outside portions of the split air conditioning units, I really don't think you're going to be able to see them at all from Meeting House Lane. And the one that goes on the back, of course, from Bradley, you won't see it because you're up the hill and behind a lot of trees.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I'm looking at the meeting house next to the church, and there's no possible way to see those relatively small units. So
right.
I
The
don't-
grade kind of rolls down. So I think they'll be pretty well obscured.
Yeah. I'm not confident enough to share the screen with everybody, but perhaps is Maria there to do that?
Well, that was really the only issue that when we discussed, I think we were all pretty much in agreement with what was going to be done. And it was just a question of visibility from the street, as I recall.
There it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, I did.
So
What do you know? God.
There's a tree on the left there, which would be on the west side. There's also a tree on the right, but down in the corner behind those is where the 2 units go that are on the front, I believe. And I know, and then there's some on the back side of this as well. There are 4 units altogether. I think you have plans in the package that show all the locations.
Yes, yeah, we had those from the first application.
Right,
absolutely.
right.
And these pictures are the ones that really tell us the story. I don't really think we have to belabor this too much. Anybody else have any comments?
Nope.
No,
Nope.
Could I get a motion then?
Great.
I move that we approve the application.
A second?
second,
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Unanimous? Gary, we're all set?
Okay, thank you very much. I'll see you next time.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Gary.
Take
You're
care.
welcome.
time.
Bye.
bye.
Let me stop sharing for a minute.
Maria says she can't speak to us, by the way. She can hear us, but she can't, for some
Oh.
reason, her microphone isn't working.
How do you know that?
She tried to call and then she texted me.
Oh, okay. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a cloud and nobody.
No, it's not that I'm psychic or anything.
Sorry to interrupt, but can you hear us? We're the Hellmans.
Yes, Hellman's
Yes,
is
Oh,
yeah.
great. I was just
Yeah.
gonna ask you
Yay.
that. So, and that's the next order of business at 61 Liberty Street. And welcome, and tell us what you have new for us.
Hello, good evening. We're doing interior renovations. The plans were submitted to the town. Also, I sent a deck to the town as well. And if you look from the street at the house, you'll basically see no difference. Everything is interior. In the back, we're putting in some sliders. But to my calculations, on the left side, those sliders, which will be on the back side of the house, are 60 feet from the street. And on the other side, we'll be closing off a window that's barely visible, and that's 70 feet from the street. But as far as the front of the house, absolutely no change. And the front sides of the house, no change. I'm not sure if you have a copy of the deck, but a lot of the views are in there as well.
Yeah, I'm looking now for the application. Give me a sec here.
Sure.
I think we're still seeing your fence, but I don't know if we got the deck.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I looked at it earlier and I did not see a deck, but let me just
Do you wanna
look
send
again
it?
real quick.
I mean, well, it was, I can,
Do you want us to send it to you now?
Oh, I don't know if I.
Maria's going to share. She's going to share something.
Enough to
Okay,
read
now
it.
she's going okay.
So the question, I'm sorry, I wasn't probably
Well,
listening while I was
So
looking.
there you
Tell
go.
me where the deck is again?
So this is, I'm sorry, go back to if you can go back to that shot of the house.
first
It went
one.
by very fast, but as you can see from that quick view, as you're traveling 60 miles an hour on Liberty, you would miss it entirely.
If you go the speed limit, though.
Yeah, even if you go the speed limit, there's no chance. Can someone pull that picture up
I'm
again?
looking right now, yeah.
Okay, that was the
Maria,
deck.
there was a good shot of the sort of side to back view. I don't know if we can get that again. We got a glimpse of it. And I agree. I don't think it's going to be anything that we can really see.
And there will be a fence up based on our last meeting. So that'll even, block the view
Right.
even more, but.
What is the material of the fence?
That was the vinyl fence, but that was,
That's what we
approved.
just-
Yeah. So that's
was
the
the-
house. That's the west side view of the house. The window all the way in the back are being replaced by sliders, and the middle ones are actually, the two middle ones are actually being eliminated. We also submitted, you guys should have the plans too, because those were submitted to the town while ago, but it mirrors the same thing here. And you can see from the red line at the bottom, the windows that we're losing are 60 feet from the curb of the street.
And they're gonna be replaced or just removed and just removed entirely and just shingles put there.
And we're going to match them with the matching shingles over them, yeah.
Got
To
it.
the left of them from this view will be the sliders.
I see it now, yeah. Yeah, these are visible though, correct?
Yes,
Yeah, okay. And, okay.
but can we, yeah, and that's the other side. Well, we're almost there, but for that glance that you saw, if you can remember that glance, if we can just switch to that other one, to the east side of the house. No, no. That's the west side. There we go, east
There we
side.
go.
We're eliminating that back window there. We're actually putting the back of the refrigerator
With
there.
that'll just be shingle again.
Matching shingle, exactly.
Okay.
And if you can go to the front view, there's also a picture in here with the fence. I guess if you can go forward, if you can just go forward on the deck, that might be the best way to see it. We're on page 5 now. Keep going. I think we're going backwards. That's the front view.
Okay.
You can't even see the sides from there looking straight on. If you
Right.
can go forward in the pages, we're on page 1 now. If you go to page 2, there's the side views. Keep going. Okay, stop right there. So that's how it will look, which is from the approved fence from last month.
Right, and then we already approved that, that's correct.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the only big thing is the change of the 2 windows to sliders.
Right.
And the deck doesn't look to me like it's gonna be visible at all,
No,
if it's in the rear.
no, I don't.
Okay, can we just go back to where those 2 windows are gonna be? To where the sliders?
That's the west side of the house. Yeah. Oop. There you go. You see them on the bottom of this one. I don't know if you can scroll up a little bit on that one.
Might be better to go to the
Funny,
picture.
I try to do it from here and obviously I can't touch it.
Let him go to the picture.
There it is, right?
Yep. Yep.
So those 2 standard kind of double hung windows are going to be replaced by sliders that go from the floor to the about the height of the top of the window, I'm assuming.
Well, the windows in the middle will be replaced by matching shingles,
I'm sorry, you're right.
and the windows in the back will be replaced by
Yeah.
sliders.
Yeah, he said, yes, they will be the full.
Oh, I see. So I'm looking at I get it. So the sliders are at the back of the house.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I have less. And then will there be steps or something?
Yeah, well, we're not sure. We have, we'll put a 3-foot deck, wraparound deck, from the side to the
There are
back
steps, or basically just step down. So
Yeah.
they have to be 3 feet so you can step on it and not trip.
and step down.
You have to have that space to step down. But it's not really a deck, it's really just steps.
Yeah, I understand. So you have to have something or else you'd have a
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or else you have a lawsuit.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. So I don't have a huge problem with this. And it's going to be marginally visible from the street as far as I can tell, because it's at the rear of the house. Now I understand it better. Anybody else have a comment on this?
I think with the fence, we will hardly see it.
Right.
Is the fence in front of that back slider?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't, yeah.
Was that a corn crib back next to the garage? Just-
Yeah, it's a corn crib. I don't think it's like an original.
Yeah, no,
The
I think
pilgrims
people,
are here putting corn in there. I think it's something that was done.
No,
probably
I mean, I actually went to Madison Historical Society because they have the original corn crib back there. and behind the Alex Bushnell house. And I was like, oh gosh, do we have an original? I was so excited. And we don't, because he told us we would have had more opening between the panels of wood.
Yeah, that's the way they were built.
And I was like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
because I was really hoping it would have been the real thing, but it's not.
It's a good try.
replica.
Yeah. It looks like in the 50s or 60s, they tried back there with that.
Yeah, yeah. I think also they were kind of collected for a while when people were getting rid of them, but
Yes. Mhm.
That's interesting. I wonder if this is one of those.
could be. And then just new siding put on.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, because we had an ancient one on our property 25 years ago that it really just fell down. We couldn't save it. And it did not have the gaps between the side panels, which I thought it would have. But
For the
it was
ventilation.
old. There's no question about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there you go. Who knows, And who knows, it looked old and maybe it wasn't as old as I thought. In any case, it's gone now, so we can't do it. Anyway, anybody
Anyway.
else have any comments on this particular, so that's really where we are, is that deck behind the fence and that slider change, because that's the only new thing that we're really dealing with. We really basically approved everything from before, as I recall.
Correct.
Right.
Okay, so any other issue, any other comments from the commission on that?
No.
Are we ready for a motion?
I move that we accept the application for the windows.
And then
Second,
change the slider, that's great. All in favor?
I,
I,
Opposed? None? That passes, and we are all set. So thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
I actually enjoyed the process a lot. It was actually a lot of fun. And
thank you for providing us.
opened my
with
eyes to
this.
things. No, it's really-
I'm impressed because you're the first to have said that.
Look, I believe that the ultimate goal to keep the area feeling this way is going to be achieved this way. And that's wonderful. That's what brings so much
We're
character.
all for it.
Yeah, it brings so
I
much character to
think
this.
So too, but and we're
Yeah.
happy to hear you feel that way. Yeah,
We love it. We love it.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you so much.
Thank you.
very much.
good luck.
Aye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, to all the commission, I forgot to say something at the beginning of this, which is kind of too late now, but somebody needed to take minutes of this thing, because let's just go back. All I really need to know, I'll do it myself, but what I really need to know is who made the motion for the First Congregational Church?
I did.
Carol.
Okay, Carol did. Who seconded it?
I did.
Susan. And it was unanimous, so that's easy. And then on the Liberty Street one, who made that motion?
I did, Susan.
Did the
Susan.
reverse of the first one.
Yep.
Oh, okay, and Carol seconded.
Yep.
That's all I need. I have like 6 of these to do to catch up. Yeah, I'm in terrible shape here, so I want to make sure I get it right.
It should be short and sweet.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way we like them. Very good. Okay, do we have minutes? I haven't seen them. Okay.
I'm afraid I haven't seen them either.
Just look. Let's see here. Yeah, they're not in my email from the agenda, so we'll have to push that off till the next meeting. I'm happy to do it if you have them. I just don't see them. Okay. So we can review those minutes from March 28th next time. Anything else for the Historic District Commission? Crickets.
I think we're good.
I think we're good. Yeah. Can I get a motion to adjourn? That was a quick meeting.
I move that we adjourn
Eric?
the district.
And a second?
Second.
Carol, second. All in favor?
Hi.
Aye. Opposed? None. Abstaining? None. So we are adjourned as of 7:19 PM on the 25th. Very good. Let me just write these notes. All right, good. So that was short and sweet. We can now go right into the Old Elm Street Historic District Study Committee, if everybody's ready.
Already.
Okay. This might be a little bit longer meeting tonight than we normally have. So I will call to order the Old Elm Street Historic District Study Committee at, oh, I can't do it yet. We have to talk amongst ourselves. The statutes say we can't start it until 7:30.
What?
Yeah, that's true. I got my hand slapped once about this.
Can I make a motion that we move it up to 7:20?
No, but I'll find another way around this. Now, let's see, we can't start it yet, but what we can do is talk a little bit about the white pages, because I mean, I had the same issues that everybody did regarding these phone numbers. So I couldn't agree more with Susan from before about personal visits. And then we have to talk about, what the next steps are besides that in terms of another town meeting or another, meeting of everyone, and how to do that and how formal to make it or informal. And that's all going to have to be decided, which, it's kind of just the next steps anyway. But let's go for 7:30 now. It's almost 7:30. So I'm going to call to order the meeting.
By the way, Tom, I have a text
go ahead.
from Maria saying she's going to disconnect and then log back in, maybe so she can get back on again.
Okay.
So if we lose each other, let's just log back in again.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think she's sending another message as I speak.
Well, go ahead. We'll wait to hear from her. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Okay.
I was just blathering to try to take up time.
No, that was good. That was good.
Hardly. So she could leave without us having a problem, I think, though.
I don't know if she's the organizer. I'm not sure if we'll get disconnected, but
We're
she
gonna
says,
find out.
just keep going. I can hear now, but I still can't talk. If I disconnect, a meeting goes. Okay. So yeah, let's just keep going.
Okay.
We're good.
All right. So now officially, I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:30 p.m. on April the 25th for the Old Elm Street Historic District Study Committee. And for the benefit of the recording, we will all again identify ourselves. I'm Tom Boyle.
Eric Berg.
Susan Cartledge.
Carol Snow.
Okay. So the first order of business before we get started is I want to add something to the agenda and get a vote on it. We have just got information the other day about one of the properties that is in our proposed, in the study committee's proposed area. And it's important information that I think we should talk about. So as other item number 6, we'll add that to the agenda. And I will tell you that it's about 253, I think 253 Boston Post Road, Barbary Farm. And we've got some information on that we'll add to the agenda with everybody's permission. So I'd like to actually make a formal vote on that. I'll make the motion to add that to the agenda for this evening. And I'll need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. So item number, in other items, there'll be some discussion regarding Barbary Farms, okay? All right, so before we get that, we'll go in order here. And we have, we already knew this, but let's just brag about it a little bit again from Carol. The application is in, correct?
It's in. I think it's not until June that they would be deciding at the earliest, but yes, thank you to Erin. She sent it off with all the appropriate town information and signatures, including our first select woman. So yay. And it's our first CLG application. So fingers crossed.
It's great news. I'm so glad we actually are moving forward on this. It's very exciting. And my fingers are crossed too regarding the acceptance of that application, but let's hope for the best and hope that we get what we need. So she thought that June would be the first time we hear anything, huh?
I think that's it. I don't have it in front of me, but
That's what I recall too.
I believe they weren't meeting in May, so it would be bumped up to the next June meeting, we hope.
Okay, well, it's great news and we're just moving forward, so that's always good. So let's have a great session about the assignments and the telephone calls and so forth, with which I totally agree. I had the exact same experience that I got from Carol, from Eric Berg, from Eric Axberg also. Same thing. You get maybe one call that's the correct number, and it's only a telephone machine. It's only an answering machine anyway, so who knows what's really happening. So I guess we're just not gonna. It was a good try that didn't work very well. It didn't work last time I did it. I remember distinctly getting real phone numbers out of it, but it didn't work this time. So I agree with Susan. I think that we need to. I think we need to just make some personal visits to these guys. And I can arrange this any way you like. I thought Eric Berg and I did this once years ago now. And it was actually relatively successful. We got a hold of a few people. We got a few people to talk through the closed doors to us. But we actually got people say, oh yeah, no, that sounds fine to me. And evidently they're more willing to do this kind of thing in person than they are by responding.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Carol, I'll work with you.
Sure, we can have teams to go out and
I think,
Yeah.
you think two people sounds right to me.
I think.
Yeah,
it is, too.
I think so. I agree.
It's much
Yeah.
more official.
Yep.
yep.
Okay, so we have Carol and Susan. Eric Berg, you want to go with me again?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm and Eric.
And we really should spend to do this sooner rather than later, just because of a timing thing, reaching people. Since the letter went out, I just think, an hour or two, Saturday and or Sunday, we need to begin, in my opinion.
Mhm.
I'm happy to do it. We can start as early as this weekend if everybody likes.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's okay.
Okay.
I
Sure.
might be around this weekend. I might not be, but
You and I can get together and come up with a date.
sure. And Tom, it would be good maybe also if we could have some extra copies of the letters.
Mhm.
Just so in case they say, oh, I never got it, or I don't remember, I
Throw
recycled
it
it.
away.
That happened once. Didn't Eric, didn't you have someone who said they didn't receive the letter?
Yeah, and I'm not totally sure about that call, whether that person was the person that I was supposed to be talking with, but that's another discussion. He seemed very puzzled.
Oh,
That may have been I thought it went through, but the more I think about it, I'm not totally sure that was
not
the
the right
owner.
guy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll find out. So do you want to do this based on the assignments that we have already put out there?
Sure. Yeah,
Mhm.
that makes sense.
That makes sense to me.
Yep.
And that
We
way.
do that, yeah.
All right. So Carol and Susan. hang on.
Susan, that means we have to go to the West End.
Right.
That's right. So maybe we can get, let's see, who's ever not here. We can get Eric Axberg
Denny.
to go with Denny maybe. And we'll see. I mean, if that can work, if they're around, But and I can go with another. I don't mind partnering with another person and doing some more.
Same.
That would be a bunch of them right there. And then we can look. I probably should in the meantime just give you a few. I did get a couple, which is all you ever get from those letters. A couple, oh, and John Lynn, too, we gotta get in here. Wait a minute. John. Yeah, so I'll have a discussion with John, because on the last agenda item, the Barberry Farm one, I want to talk to him about it anyway. So we'll get John to partner with somebody to go out on his assignment. So, but I should tell you just the couple calls I had. One was the relatively new owners, basically across the street. Their name is Creaser. They moved actually from John Lynn's neighborhood down to here. And he had several questions about it. all very positive. Wondering, one, if the, I don't remember if I know I sent this to John, but I don't think I sent it to anybody else. One, if the view from the cemetery would kind of count, and I thought not, because that's not a public way from the cemetery. This is, I don't have the address in front of me, but it's diagonally across the street from my house, next to the cemetery. And he had another question about the rear, which of course is not going to be any issue at all. And then he's thinking about replacing windows at some point. And I steered him in the direction of the windows that the Banishes used to live in, for the house that the new people moved in from the Banishes. And I said, those we already approved. So if you have something like that, it's not going to be an issue. But it was a very positive call. So that's the good news. And that is a new owner that hadn't ever heard of this before. So that was one. The other one I got, and this will feed into the new item on the agenda. I got a call from the fellow named Katz, who is living on the corner of the Post Road and Stony Lane, which is the old Acreage house that they did a lot of work on. And he wanted to talk about Barbary Farm. And, you know, there have been a lot of rumors about Barbary Farm up and down this road here, and I'm going to get into those in a minute. But anyway, I had a very long conversation with him, and he thought that Barbary Farm would be like a pivotal part of the district, with which I agreed. And so we talked about that for a long time, and then I, finally got to the punchline. I said, "What do you feel about this district?" What I was trying to get from him. And he had an interesting response. He said, "Well, I want to hear what my neighbors think about it," which is reasonably. We've heard that one before. It was not a negative call at all.
Right.
I thought that Barbary Farm was a part, a big piece of the district, which I agree with. We have my across the street neighbors have been, ever since they've moved in and knew that this was happening, have been staunch supporters. And their name is Jim and Peggy Nordgren, and they live in Kurt Crump's old house. And they immediately responded and say, "Yep, we're all in." And they're very good people to have on our side, because they walk daily up and down the Post Road and say hello to every single person on the Post Road.
Good.
And they know more first names than I do. So I'm going to enlist them I already have actually, to be ambassadors for this. So those are the good things that happened from the letter. And as is typical, those are about the only responses we got. Doesn't surprise me in the least. It's I've written these and sent them out before. One thing, and I agree wholeheartedly with Eric about starting this as soon as we can in terms of personal visits. I also want to send, and I'm happy to do it, kind of a letter at least once a month to these people, just to keep them involved.
Just an update, right?
An update. And we're going to find something to talk about. In this case, we can talk about the fact that our application for funding is in, and then we're waiting for a thing. There'll be shorter letters. We don't have to go through all the detail, but that was my thought. And I'll try to do that in the next couple of weeks, get up another letter and send it to everybody. And we'll get that out in the next, several weeks. Again, just to keep the momentum going.
Before you send out more letters, would you mind running them by Aaron?
Oh, no, not at all.
Especially with town letterhead on them.
Yeah, okay.
That'd be great.
Did you mention that? Did you? Yeah. Well, I just put the town letterhead on it for, All right. Copy it.
And then she can decide if she wants to make any change or if it looks great.
Well, right. And if it's an issue, I can take the letterhead off, obviously, but it is a duly commissioned organization through the town. So there's no harm in putting that letter on there. But I never even thought of doing that, to be honest with you.
The sooner we visit people, then we could have a better, you'll have a better time frame to start thinking about getting together as a community. So I think the more information we have, positive or negative, will give us a little bit more perspective.
Right. So that leads directly into the next thing I want to talk about, which is kind of a public meeting again, which we've done twice. And we have to have, I would guess, at least one more before the real public meeting when, when the final one, when we go in front of the town with the select people and everything. But anyway, I was hoping to do that on a more, I wish John was here because he could help me decide. I'd like to do that on a more informal basis if I could. I've been talking about having a picnic in my backyard kind of thing. And I think we can do that, but I want to make sure that the format's formal enough to make it a true public meeting where we invite everybody in the district, in the proposed district. So that's my next guess. And I don't disagree, Eric, that we could, that can go off. That doesn't have to happen tomorrow, and we'll have a better idea about how and when to do that after we talk to people. But everybody would be invited to that in any case. And you all would be invited, and everybody else we can get. We had pretty good participation the last couple of times we did that. We sent a letter and we said, here's a public meeting, and I'd say we got half of the members of the proposed district to them. So hopefully we can get that again. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think we can do that on a more informal basis, or do you think it has to be a formal thing at the town hall and that kind of thing?
Informal. If you're willing to be the host and people bring dishes or so forth, that I think that would make a lot more sense than a formal setting.
Yeah, Tom, I don't know if we can call it a public meeting then.
That's the question.
Yeah, better check to see.
Yeah, that's why I wanted John to be here, and I can ask Erin too, perhaps. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I think that's what I will. I'll call her. She would have a good read on that. Because if honestly, I don't mind having the picnic, but if I can't call it a public meeting, then it kind of obviates the whole purpose of it, And we could have a public meeting in a town facility still. That's fine. I don't have any problem doing that. But I'll call Erin. Thank you, Carol. That's a really good idea. Public.
Probably would get more people in the backyard versus a formal meeting at the town campus, in my personal opinion.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I agree too.
And we can have that picnic, and you guys can all come and not call it a public meeting. There's no problem with that.
Right.
And I'd make a very brief statement about, I haven't thought it through at all, but about the local district and any questions you have. We don't maybe identify the commission members with name tags or something. Please call us. I don't want to make I would say I don't want to make this a formal public meeting, but I want you all to know that this is what we're trying to do, and like a 5-minute speech, and then say, now please enjoy yourselves and have a beer or a glass of wine. I mean, that's how I envisioned it anyway. All right, so we'll keep thinking about that, and I will call Erin. That's actually Carol. Thank you. That's a good idea. Okay, we don't have any minutes. Regarding the personal visits, I will let Carol and Susan and you and I, Eric, we can decide that amongst ourselves to decide when we're going to do it. And I'm happy to do it whenever you want. What I did, that's what I want to remember. What we did last time, I printed up those information sheets, Carol, that you mentioned, and I left one of those at every house that we went to where nobody showed up.
That's a good idea.
And I also I put a little note on it, said, because we missed you, here's more information. And then, but mostly it was just a way to just put a face to the letter kind of thing, so they know what we're doing and why we're doing it. But the other important thing is that those face-to-face meetings, if we can get telephone numbers and email addresses, it would be critical to get those, because then it'd be so easy to contact. And the letters take a clunky and snail mailish, but the email could be very easy. So that would just be my watchword, to try to get those. And having said that, I had a long talk with that guy, Mr. Katz. I have his phone number, but I don't have his email because I forgot to ask for it. So we'll have to remember that kind of stuff. Anything else on what we've talked about so far? We all on the same page here?
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay, so The other item that we want to talk about is not terribly good news, but it's at least finally something concrete that we can get our heads around. And it does concern the Barbary Farm. I have heard one rumor after another about what's going on at Barbary Farm, some of which now have proven to be actually accurate, and some were out from left field. I've heard that the golf course was interested in buying part of that to use as a driving range. I heard that they were gonna, the entire thing was going to be a subdivision, just one thing after another. But I did see there was an agenda posted, and at the last planning and zoning meeting on Thursday, I believe, there was a presentation made by a developer. I want to put something up on the screen here if I can. Let's see. Oh, that didn't work. I have it. Maybe if I open it. Anyway, the presentation at the planning and zoning meeting was on their agenda, and the developer, a developer came in to talk about that on a very preliminary basis. It's not anything that is set in stone. There's nothing definite about it, but they did have a plan. And on the agenda, I don't have it in front of me, this developer actually is going to purchase part of the property, about 12 acres of Barbary Farm.
Do you know the name of the developer?
It's the exact same developer that is building the general's residence.
Oh,
That was my reaction. Anyway, that's who it is.
And they're only, I was going to ask you, what's the total acreage of the property? Do you know, Tom?
I could look it up. This 12 acres is not the total acreage.
Right.
For
but
some
they
reason,
only-
I have 17 acres in my head, but I'm not sure.
I think that's about right, Carol.
Yeah.
It used to be more actually, but it is not as much anymore.
And their plan is just 12
12 acres of the but wait,
of the seven, of whatever the number here.
12 acres of the 17, and it looks like they're going to try to save the main house and the farmland in front of the main house. How come this doesn't
oh,
work?
that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
I'll say that in a second. Let's see. Okay. Share screen.
While you're looking, was there a discussion about what happens to the rest of the if 17 is the number? Was there any discussion about what's going to be done for the balance or not, other than saving the house?
I didn't see any, so there's no minutes yet, so I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
But I only am going on the plan that am having a terrible time sharing with you guys, but I'll get there. Let's try it again. So, according to this plan, Eric, to answer that question, the farmhouse and the farmland in front of the house would be saved. The issue here is twofold. First of all, the last discussions I had with, and John Lind and I actually sat in their kitchen and talked about this with Kelly and Kingsley, they were reasonably amenable to the historic district at that point. This is 4 or 5 years ago now.
Mhm.
And they asked for, well, the problem with it is we're a farm, and sometimes we have to like temporarily move a wall and do this and do that. So we thought that we could change the guidelines to make it easier for them to be able to do that without coming in front of us every time they had to. And John was all behind this. I actually have written that change in the guidelines. That's where it stopped. We never went any further with it. But I would continue to do that. So that for the main house, that would, it was solved. Now, I have no idea, since this is all happening, if that is particularly gonna be, if they would still be amenable to this, because there it is. Good. Did I see that?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So over here, can you see my arrow?
Mhm.
Okay. Over, this is the post road here. This is Stony Lane. This is the 12-acre parcel that the developer is proposing to purchase. The proposal is for 22 single-family homes
Oh, my goodness.
to be crammed in to that 12-acre parcel. I mean, that was my reaction, is, oh my goodness. So,
Well, that's not really my reaction.
so this is very preliminary. This hasn't received any approval from the town. They went to the Planning and Zoning Commission and talked about it, and that's all. And I don't believe that there was a great deal of reaction, although I wasn't there. So this brings up a couple of things. From the local historic district perspective, honestly, there's only 2 homes in the front that would be affected. So perhaps we could talk to the developers and say, look, you know, we understand you're going to develop this property, but can you throw us a bone perhaps and get the two houses in the front, these here, that you can see, can we get those to be included in the historic district, as well as Kelly and Kingsley's main house?
Mhm.
I have not talked to, this is that the fellow Katz, the old DA3 house lives right here. He's right across the street. These are new owners here. These are dear friends of ours here. And 2 houses down here is an attorney who works in New York City and just uses it as a weekend house, but is on the Preservation Commission in New York City. He, 10 years ago, asked if we could bring the local historic district, I didn't mention this the other day, local historic district up Stony Lane to include all those houses. And I said, you know, I didn't say no, I just said, well, that's something we have to think about. But sounds interesting now, doesn't it? So, other thing is, I mean, who knows what the Planning and Zoning Commission is going to do? I mean, that's a lot of houses in a 12-acre parcel, and that may never work. But I think we have an opportunity at this point to, and I don't know how exactly to do this, because you have the developer who's going to buy this 12-acre parcel, and you still have Kelly and Kingsley that own this 5-acre parcel with this wetlands in the back that can't be developed. So seems to me that there might be a way to kind of see if we can leverage some community, some neighborhood acceptance of this thing by indicating that the local historic district to the neighbors might help keep this development in some kind of check. I don't know, just an idea. There's a way in which I'm not terribly sorry that this has happened, because it was going to happen at some time anyway. And now we have a little bit more concrete to kind of go on. So this is this happened Thursday evening, the 21st. So it's 3 days old. And I want to talk to John and see what he thinks about, John Lind, and see what he thinks about this and how to, you got to approach this very, very gently and carefully, I think. You have to approach it in terms of Kelly and Kingsley, who, are going to try to monetize their farm, and they're not young anymore. And, they struggled just like we all did to put kids through college. And this is probably they're thinking of as their retirement, which I totally
Right.
understand. Plus, they have every right to do what can be done legally,
Mhm.
It is an R1 district. It means, 40,000 square foot minimum site size, but there is something in the regulations that allows for this kind of planned district development, I think it's called. So whether or not it ends up to be this, I don't know. The other thing I'm going to do, because I'll talk to Mr. Katz after we talk to you, because he mentioned this when he talked to me, although it was more in the form of rumor then and not real. But I do know two other neighbors that we know pretty well on Stony Lane, and just feel out to see if they've been approached by Barbary Farm, because they will be adjacent property owners to this, and they will have a strong, I think, impact on what planning and zoning might do. So I do intend to talk to both of them, just both of those neighbors, to see what they think about it and so forth. And we're just going to have to go kind of carefully here and see what we can do. So
I think that's a good,
go ahead.
yeah, I think that's a good approach, and particularly if they have a strong opinion, maybe for less volume, we could be on their side, so to speak, and go to the next meeting in terms of a little bit of lobbying, maybe not necessarily for the proposed Old Elm Street district, but having that in mind as it relates, it might put us in better stead with the neighbors, so to speak, as well.
Well, that was exactly what my thought was, Eric, is to try to ingratiate ourselves to some degree with the neighbors. Now, the thing is, I don't know if I'm probably not, I know I'm not in the butter, and my house is probably 300 feet from Barbary Farm, but I can wear the hat of a neighbor and will do so unabashedly to talk about this at whatever the next planning and zoning meeting is regarding it. And then I could also wear the hat of the local historic district, which, our attempt to do this has predated this development by many, many years. We can make that statement, but what you just said, Eric, is exactly, and you said it probably better than I did, is exactly what I was thinking in terms of how can we put this to our advantage, And I think that probably is the way to do it.
What is the next steps? They in terms of how planning and zoning works, in terms of a protocol, because obviously proposed doesn't mean reality, and I guess the planning and zoning commission has to weigh in on this. So we're probably far from having any kind of final decision, right?
Yeah, I was actually thinking, I don't know how long the general's residence took, but this is a very preliminary proposal. It's not an official application by any means yet.
Right.
And the idea was to just have an initial discussion and have a chance for the commission to ask any questions, and for the applicant to give this first sort of very preliminary drawing of what their concept is at this point. I don't know. Does anyone remember from the time, say, when the same developers purchased the general's residence from Bill Plunkett until, it was, I feel like it was at least a year before it got to the final stages. Does anybody else remember?
Oh, yeah,
Let's see.
I agree. I think it might have been considerably more than a year.
Yeah. So I don't think this is going to happen in a mad rush, but it's kind of happening simultaneously with us moving forward. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. And Tom, I agree with you with everything that you're saying.
Okay.
I think it sounds good.
Yeah, I think Eric actually crystallized a little bit better than I did in terms of how to make this. I'm just trying to figure out a way to turn this to our advantage. That's all.
Right.
And at the very worst thing that could happen is, and this is why you want to go slowly with this, is that Kelly and Kingsley right this minute say, absolutely not. We don't want to be in that district. We don't want to have anything to do with it. They own that property, and they can say that, and just to go along with the way we've been doing this, we kind of have to take them out,
Right.
So that's why I want to be so careful with this, and also appeal to their better nature on these kinds of things too.
Yeah,
they already did. They really did kind of agree to it, in pretty real way. So,
Well, and also it's great that they're saving that house.
oh yeah,
Right, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's the iconic part of the whole farm anyway.
And the open space and the view, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, that's where we are. I just wanted to make sure everybody got that information as quickly as you could, and let's think about this and be careful with it. And let's also keep a real close eye on how it transpires in terms of that development. You know,
Mhm.
can't think of anything else. What I wanted to make very clear is that because this was already presented at this at the planning and zoning meeting, this is absolutely public knowledge now.
Mhm.
So it can be discussed and there's no hiding it. That I got this map is right on the town website. And I will be happy to, if you guys want, I'll be happy to just email it to everybody so that, and I'll email it to John, who I teased him quite a bit tonight because I said, well, we have some interesting news that you know.
Too bad you won't be there.
I could add to the agenda. He said, I can't wait. So I'll send this to y'all so you have it. And then in the meantime, let's think about the best way to put our best foot forward on this.
Mhm.
And certainly we'll, Eric, you and I can get together and talk
Yeah,
about.
let's communicate. Yeah,
Yeah.
between now and then, Tom, reach out to me because I'm always here. So we
Okay.
can talk. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Carol and that's great. Carol and Susan will make a wonderful team. And I'll when I talk to John, because I know he'll call me when I send him this thing. We'll see who he'd like to team up with, and that's really the gist of it. And we can get a lot of people done that way. And of course, in the meantime, I'm not going to stop making phone calls and trying to get a hold of people. You know,
Mhm.
none of you should either, but I totally understand that the white pages was a wipeout. We really couldn't get much information. I did get, just so everybody knows, get detailed responses from Eric Berg, from Carol Snow, and from Eric Hacksberg on this. So that covered about 35 properties right there. And so we'll just continue to go for this and see what we can do. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Anything else anybody has?
Nope.
All right. I think we're all set. I'd get a motion to adjourn.
Move
I
to
move
adjourn.
That we adjourned?
I think you got 3.
And a second.
Second.
2 seconds.
Two of those. Never have any trouble getting these motions, you know? All right, we are adjourned as of 7:57 on April the 25th, and we'll see you all next time, and we will get together on these personal visits, okay?
Good.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you, Tom.
Good
Thank you,
night,
Tom.
everybody.
Yeah. Good night.
Bye.